They've got Hawaii on Saturday and Ole Miss on Sunday, and there are a lot of.
And then Rutgers beat Northwestern 63-59. And then today, I mentioned the scores earlier that, it took Michigan. They had to really give Purdue, or not Purdue, who'd they play? Sorry, Michigan was in another close game. There we go. My internet is being so slow. 63-61. Michigan had to really eke one out over Penn State. So there's been some good ball games. That's what's so great about tournament time. Unfortunately, unless your team is on the wrong end of one of those close scores. But, it's exciting because there's some great matchups. But we'll hear more from Matt Coatney coming up as we figure out the postseason projections for the women's basketball and where they might end up and what they might do. And I really do think it's going to be NIT. They'll be able to host that, and the men potentially too, if they've got some business to take care of to continue to punch that, to be able to punch that ticket and build that resume. But I think we'll still see some postseason basketball action here in Lincoln, which is always great. Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. All right, coming up next, it's time to talk some Husker wrestling, as they are also headed to the postseason this weekend, starting on Saturday, Big Ten Championship. So up next, we're going to hear from 125-pounder Liam Cronin. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Nebraska has taken over leadership from Princeton University in coordinating the U.S. physics community at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. For its role, Nebraska has been awarded over $50 million in National Science Foundation grants. This cutting-edge work at the world's largest particle accelerator helps physicists uncover the origins and makeup of the universe.
First pitch to Josh, breaking ball, hammer to left. That is absolutely crushed. Way out of here over the hitting facility in left field.
Tune in tomorrow to cheer on Nebraska baseball as they face off against 7th-ranked Vanderbilt, with pregame coverage beginning at 10:30 a.m. Softball is also in action tomorrow with a doubleheader against Weber State and TAMU Commerce at 10:45 a.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com. Member FDIC. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly, I'm Jessica Coody, and a huge weekend coming up for Husker wrestling as the postseason begins at the Big Tens. And to chat with us about that is Liam Cronin, the third-ranked wrestler at 125 pounds for the Huskers. Well, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Can you believe the postseason is already here?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been fun.
You were telling me before we started recording that this has been the fastest season that you've had since you've been wrestling. Why?
Yes.
Why is that?
I think because I'm just enjoying it the most. You know, it's the last season. We've been having fun, so it's just been quick.
It seems like this team is really close-knit, and you guys have been having a lot of fun, too. I mean, how much fun has this team been?
It's been great. I think what's different about this team is it's very family-oriented. You know, we have a lot of love for each other, a lot of love for the coaches, so it's just been a real tight-knit group, and it's been a lot of fun.
And a lot of married guys, too, right?
Yeah.
You yourself, too, one of those. I mean, I think we've had 3 of you guys on now.
Yep, we got 3 or 4 married guys on the team, 4.
Wow. How different is that I mean, it seems like you guys are all, I guess, a little bit more mature, maybe have a different outlook on things.
For sure. I think it brings a lot of maturity to the team, having 3 guys in the starting lineup who are married. So, you know, it's a little different, but it's good.
Well, before we talk postseason, let's go back to your last time out of the mat inside Devaney and senior day for you. Arizona State, a top 20 matchup once again for you guys as a team. You had a top 10 matchup. Take the victory in sudden victory. How special was that to leave the mat for the final time in front of Husker fans with a win like that? Yeah, it was great to give the fans, you know, one final goodbye and leave with a victory as a team and as individuals. A lot of fun. How do you approach that? I mean, because it's got to be emotional knowing it's your last time, but then you have a big matchup at that and in a top 10 matchup. How do you go into it with that and managing those emotions? I think making the moment a little smaller than it is, because if you look at it, there's a big picture. It's like it's senior night. It's the last duel of my career. It's a big matchup for me. You know, the returning national finalist. He's a good wrestler, so there's a lot of things that you can look at, but just making that match smaller and then focusing on what I can control. Right, having fun, you know, trying to leave my last match in front of the fans and the home crowd, you know, make it enjoyable. Awesome, well said. What about as a team for you guys to have a win like that going into the postseason? How big was that? I think it's important to see an out-of-conference team, especially Arizona State, you know, they're one of the better teams in the nation outside the conference, and we've been wrestling a lot of Big Ten schools the last few months, so it was fun to scrap with another team. How about Lenny Pinto? Yeah, he's special. How about that? It looked like he was about to be pinned, and then in a split second, he's getting the pin. Yeah, Lenny's a savage. We love watching Lenny. He's the type of wrestler who goes out there and he just sends it. We love it. You know, this team as a whole, I mean, you got a lot of guys that are ranked pretty high, have some high expectations. It can be such an individual sport, but this team in particular, how much are you guys going into the postseason looking to do something special as a team?
Yeah, we have high goals for ourselves, individually and as a team. And I think that the thing we've been able to do really well this season is get better individually and just focusing on the process, right? We have goals, like big goals as a team, but we're not really focused on those goals, right? We're staying process oriented. You know, we're focused on what we can get better at, what we control our effort and attitude, and, you know, every time we step on the mat, we're just trying to enjoy it, have fun, and, you know, be in the moment.
Visiting with Liam Cronin of Husker Wrestling. You know, when you go into it and maybe you have a loss that you're disappointed about, but then you're thinking about, okay, well, I can still get points for the team. Can you kind of maybe break that down? Because I think, you know, you think about a team sport in basketball, you got 5 guys out there, but with wrestling, and then it could be so individual, but then you think about, oh, well, I still have an opportunity to help the team win, even if I do have a slip up or have a disappointing finish.
Yeah, so I think at least for me, it's bigger than myself, right? I make it about the team. We have big team goals, and even if I don't get the result I want, especially if we go into the postseason, it's important that I don't let a loss or result that I don't like, you know, weigh me down. It's either some mindset that I've adopted is either win or learn, and it's helped me have success this season. And so as we get into the Big Ten and national tournament, it's really important that we're just focused on scoring points and, you know, enjoying the process and having fun and not really just focusing on the winning or losing aspect of it.
How good do you guys feel going into the postseason? Just health-wise, confidence-wise, all of the above as a whole team?
Yeah, I think we're healthy. We're excited. You know, we have a lot of young guys on the team, so we have a lot of fire on the team. We're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You got the number 2 overall seed in the Big Ten tournament and your final one. How does it feel going into your last postseason this time around?
It's exciting. It's fun. I mean, that's kind of the theme of this whole year, is just trying to enjoy this moment. You know, it's going to be my last time competing at the Big Ten tournament and the national tournament, so I'm just trying to enjoy every moment, enjoy my teammates, enjoy the competition, you know, enjoy my coaches. So I just have a real grateful attitude.
The Big Tens obviously are tough, the toughest wrestling conference in America. How do you approach going into it, especially a guy like yourself? You've been around, you've wrestled these guys lots of times. Yeah. You guys are so familiar with each other. How do you approach going into it with a game plan, if you will, to go do something big at the Big Tens?
For me, at least, and, you know, a lot of my teammates, we're focusing on what we can control, right? I'm not really too worried about what my opponents are thinking or what they're going to do. So as a whole, we're focused on, you know, what can we control, our effort and our attitude, and what we do best. We wrestle hard. We wrestle all 7 minutes, you know, first guy back to the center, competing with a smile, you know, enjoying it, and just trying to control what we can control.
What's the key to going about attacking a tournament? I mean, you guys have duels where maybe you wrestle on a Friday and a Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, but when you have so many matches that you might wrestle throughout a Big Ten or a NCAA tournament, how do you approach that and being ready for that?
Yeah, so, you know, you could have 4 matches, 5 matches. You could have a lot more matches than we do as a dual schedule. So just taking it one at a time, not really looking forward to what can happen down the road match-wise. So taking that first match, focusing on that, you know, the result's going to happen, then taking it one match at a time.
You mentioned earlier all the young guys. I asked Coach Manning this the other day, and he didn't give me a straight answer. I asked him, you know, you have a lot of guys that have been around, yourself, Mikey Labriello, but then you have some guys that are in the lineup for the first time that are, you know, kind of embracing their opportunity. Is there one wrestler, one teammate that's really surprised you, impressed you the most this season?
I got to go with Brock Hardy. You know, a guy who went on a mission. He skipped out in wrestling for 2 years, came back, had the COVID season, and then he was under Chad Redd last year and was able to step into the lineup, and he's been doing great things this year. So, you know, Brock's my guy. He's one of my workout partners, one of my best friends on the team. So he's definitely someone who has impressed me.
We got a lot of, we had him in studio, and a lot of people couldn't believe that he had taken so much time off from wrestling and then has come out the way that he has this year.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. I mean, I haven't had to take 2 years off of wrestling. You know, I was hurt last year, and I had to sit out and that was hard for me, but I couldn't imagine having to take 2 years off the mat. And I think that his faith is the biggest tool, you know, for him to be able to come back and do what he's been doing. He's got a lot of faith.
You mentioned redshirting last year, medical redshirt. What did you take away from that year going into this year?
I think my perspective of wrestling changed a lot. I went from focusing on myself as a competitor and an individual my whole career to having to sit back and put the team first. You know, I'm one of the leaders on the team, so not being involved in the wrestling aspect and competing with the team was really hard. So I think my perspective changed a lot. I was there to, you know, help and guide the guys that are on the team. Jeremiah Reno, who was the backup and the guy who stepped in for me, I had to help him out a lot. So I think just taking on a leadership role from a different perspective, and I think it just changed how I view wrestling, because this year now I enjoy it, right? I got an opportunity that I maybe couldn't have had being hurt, and so yeah, it's just made wrestling a lot more enjoyable for myself.
It's awesome. What a cool perspective. What has it meant to you to be a Husker? I know you transferred here, but to finish your career here and to have been a Husker, what has this time meant to you?
It means a lot. I've had a lot of fun. You know, I'm super grateful to have great coaches who believed in me and took a chance on me and gave me the opportunity to wear the Husker singlet. And, you know, it's been a lot of fun.
Obviously not done yet. You got work to do still as a Husker, but being that your career is over as a Husker, what's next for you? What are your plans after you're done with collegiate wrestling?
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know what type of opportunities coaching-wise or competition-wise I'm going to get after wrestling, but I'd love to go into the coaching realm of wrestling and, you know, step back from competing and be able to help other athletes out.
Is that something you always want to do? You always wanted to get into coaching?
Yeah. For sure. I enjoy helping other people out, and I think that I have a perspective towards wrestling that's going to help others out for sure.
Very cool. Well, best of luck this weekend. Excited. Can't wait. I know Huskers have big plans, big goals, so we can't wait to watch you guys in action.
We're excited. Thank you very much.
That is Liam Cronin with Nebraska Wrestling. And again, Big Ten's coming up this weekend for Big Ten championships. All right, we're going to take a break here on Sports Nightly. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
It's Ram Truck Month at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair. Your shopping experience in new 2023 Ram 1500 will surpass your expectations. With Woodhouse Ram, your car buying journey is on your terms. In-store off Highway 30 in Blair or online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com, where you can shop our inventory, apply for financing, and live chat with our sales team. Discover the 2023 Ram 1500 during Ram Truck Month, going on now at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
That's my neighbor Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a big mistake. Hey, Joe, think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have the utilities marked before you start digging?
I'm not digging very deep. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
TV's out. Internet too.
Remember, safe digging always starts with a free call to 811. Oh, what a knucklehead.
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic. Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. And they're much more than farm service equipment company. They also have a new line of beer out. Cole, have you tried the Acres Ale?
I have not. I didn't know about this.
Yes, they've had it in production. I think it just hit stores officially over the last few months, but they brought me a case of it, and I'm a big fan. So nice. They're much more than just a John Deere dealer. They also make a heck of a brew. So highly recommend you check it out if you're in the market for a new beer. Appreciate Kevin, all those guys for sure. But update on the NFL Combine. O'Shawn Mathis has ran the 40. His first time was a 4.87 unofficial times. These are unofficial times. And then his second attempt, 4.78. So improved about a second. I have a text into Jeremiah asking, because he said the first time. He sent me, Jeremiah Searles is there. He's an agent. He's got a couple of guys that are participating. So he sent me O'Shawn's first time. I saw him run the first time. I missed it second time. We've got the NFL Network up here. They are now doing on-field drills right now. So I don't know if 4.78, if that's about what O'Shawn was expected to run, if that's what he wants to run. It'll be interesting, too, also with a guy like Trey Palmer, who's expected to fly and run a very fast 40. You know, the guys that go to the Combine, they get a couple attempts at it, and then if they don't like their time, they can always rerun it at Pro Day. But if they're satisfied with that 40, then you won't see them run. So, again, I'm not sure if that's a time that O'Shawn will be happy with, if he might try to rerun it at Pro Day, or if he will be satisfied with that 4.78. And again, that's an unofficial time. And then try to rerun it again here in Lincoln. And we'll have a few guys that'll be participating in Pro Day that didn't get invited to the Combine. A guy like Garrett Nelson, who will have the opportunity. And, you know, Greg and I talked about this the other night, but it's always really fascinating to hear guys that go through this process and then come back, that have played collegiate football and then go throughout this whole process of training and do all the measurables, which Jeremiah says you can now go back to being a football player once this process is done, that you're kind of training to be a track athlete, and that training is not necessarily conducive to what you're actually going to do when you get on the field with an NFL team, but you have to test well, because it means so much to the draft and the guys that are evaluating these athletes. But going back to, when players leave and come back and they give that perspective about how prepared they were to go through a process like this because of their time at Nebraska. And, not every program is ran like this, where when you do go throughout a process where you have to go through a bunch of interviews and, get asked a million questions and have to sell yourself in an interview room, and then just again, how you handle yourself throughout the business part of it. And, you always hear, Cam Taylor-Britt told me that, last year when he came back, and JoJo Doman was the same way, which JoJo has a different view of it because of his dad. But, a lot of these Huskers will say their time prepared them for it because of how this operation is ran here. And, a lot of big-time programs are that way, but Nebraska is certainly one of those. And I think that's why a lot of times you'll see undrafted free agents and guys get the nod over other players from programs, because they know how Nebraska players are going to go handle their business. So I know O'Shawn, we would like to see him have a little bit more stats, I guess, if you will, this season. I think there's pretty high expectations for him to rack up a lot of stats in that area. But he's talked about how appreciative he is of his time as a Husker and how much he learned and how much it help prepare him too. So wish him nothing but the best, and we'll keep an eye out on him the rest of the way out. Again, they're on the field now doing field drills, and we won't see the other Huskers until Saturday. They'll start going through their meetings and interview process, which they say they get asked the craziest questions throughout that whole ordeal, and it's just kind of a whirlwind. But I would not want to do it, Cole. Cole, I would not want to go through this process. It seems very, very stressful to me.
How long before the combine do they usually start their training?
Well, they go right after the season is done, you know? I mean, depending on how your college career, your college season plays out, if you're playing in the college football playoff or, you know, if you make a bowl game or but most guys, like, you know, for example, when I was at Oklahoma and I would travel with the team to a bowl game, the guys that were done, they would a lot of times leave immediately from the bowl game and go directly to wherever they're training. And so they'll sign up with agents, different agents. Jeremiah, you know, can talk to this, which we're hoping to have him on next week to kind of do a recap of the draft and all of that and just an update. We haven't talked to him in a while, but, you know, different agents have different areas where they want you to train, and some guys go to Florida, California. There's different facilities across the country that really specialize in getting you ready for this specifically, the 40 and the split cone drills and the vertical jump and all that kind of, all the stuff that they do at the combine and pro day. There's a lot of agencies that specialize in that, so they go all across the country. But yeah, it's a long time that they have to prepare for this, and so that's why it's always such a relief when they're done with the combine and pro day, that it's over, done with, and then you can just get back to playing football. All right, that's going to wrap up hour number 1 here of Sports Nightly. We've got a whole nother hour headed your way coming up next. We're going to hear from Susan Elza, the Chief of Staff for Matt Rule's Husker football staff, so keep it right here. You'll want to hear that interview. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Back with more coming up right after this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
First pitch to Josh. Breaking ball, hammer to left. That is absolutely crushed. Way out of here over the hitting facility in left field.
Tune in tomorrow to cheer on Nebraska baseball as they face off against 7th-ranked Vanderbilt with pregame coverage beginning at 10:30 a.m. Softball is also in action tomorrow with a doubleheader against Weber State and TAMU Commerce at 10:45 a.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval.
Good evening, I'm Jessica Coody. Here's tonight's sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Big Ten women's basketball tournament is in full swing. Nebraska with an early exit after falling 67-64 to Michigan State in the second round matchup earlier today. Jazz Shelley led the way with 24 points, knocking down 5 of 10 three-pointers. Alexis Markowski with her Big Ten leading 15th double-double of the season with 12 points and 13 rebounds, and we will learn more about the postseason fate coming up a week from Sunday. 17th ranked Michigan held off Penn State 63-61 to advance to the quarterfinals. Wisconsin and Purdue in action right now in the fourth quarter. Wisconsin leading Purdue 45-40. And following the conclusion of that one, the final game of the day will be Rutgers and Illinois. A trio of Big Ten men's games tonight. Michigan at Illinois 33-31. The Illini leading at half, and Rutgers leading Minnesota 40-33 also at the half. Fifth ranked Purdue is at Wisconsin. That tips at 8 o'clock on FS1. Nebraska men's tennis, ranked 50th in the nation, picked up a win over another top 100 ranked team in Ball State this afternoon, and in sweeping fashion 4-0. The NFL Combine is underway. Defensive line and linebackers kicking things off today. O'Shawn Mathis is in today's group, currently on the field going through drills right now, but he measured in at 6'5", 250. Arm length, one of the longest in the group, 35 1/4 inches. Hand measurement, 10 3/4 inches. And just wrapped up the 40 times his group did his best unofficial 40 time, 4.78. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. That's the ticker. Now get ready for another hour of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Crossover dribble on the take on the left hand to layup. Got it! Derek Walker!
Anderson hammers one to center. That's hit pretty well. Kern backing up. He's to the track. He's to the wall. And that ball is gone!
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly here on this Thursday evening. I'm Jessica Coody. Greg Sharpe on the road with baseballs. They got a big weekend coming up in Minneapolis. We'll talk more about that here coming up in just a little bit. But here in our first segment, wanted to bring our listeners here a conversation that I was able to have last week, but we dropped it this week on our podcast platforms with Dr. Susan Elza, the Chief of Staff for Matt Roll's Husker football staff. And she comes to Lincoln after serving as the first woman ever that was in the role of athletics director for UIL in Texas. And so she's got incredible experience, is an incredible leader. It was so awesome to get to chat with her. So here is a portion of my conversation with Dr. Susan Elza. Well, I guess let's start with the call, Coach Roll, and why you decided that this is the next step for you.
Well, you know, the biggest honor that I had was getting to be the athletic director for high school sports in the state of Texas. But, you know, I've been a Coach Roll fan back when he was at Baylor, stopped through at their practices. Obviously, I knew some of the coaches on the staff. And when he went to Carolina, it's funny, him and I did talk about, you know, maybe I would come there. The timing wasn't really right. And when I started seeing his name flash up there, you know, maybe to come to Nebraska, I was like, man, I wonder. And we connected, and he was like, hey, come join us. And there just was not any way that I was going to say no to this opportunity.
Wow. So take me back to when you first met him then. When he was at Baylor and you were working with Texas high schools, what was the overall impression that you had from him? So I grew up in Waco. So I always went through, you know, even under the previous staff at Baylor, and would stop through at practices and say hello, because I knew some of those coaches came from the high school ranks. So when Coach Rule got there, he hired, you know, guys from the high school ranks, and one of them was Joey McGuire. And him and I, you know, I say I've known him since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, but we grew up in the profession together.
and we saw each other's careers excel. You know, he was football coach at Cedar Hill, and so going through there, you know, y'all may not know Coach Rule very well, but if you're family with somebody on his staff, then you're family with him. And you just felt so, you know, welcome. And, you know, a lot of the guys that were on that staff then, I didn't know them as well as I do now, obviously. Sean Padden being one that is so key in our staff here, and was at the Baylor, you know, on the Baylor staff as well. And if you're around him for any amount of time and you see him interact with his coaches and his players, those times there made me want to work for him. I mean, you pick your people by the way they lead. And you don't always get to pick your bosses that way, but I'm lucky that I had that time, and I knew if he did call my name, you know, I was going to go running.
We've heard a lot of stories about how when he was hired at Baylor and he went and won over all of the Texas high school football coaches, and how important that was. So what was your perspective of that and how he got in there? And it's such a huge recruiting hotbed and state of Texas high school football, how he won all those guys over.
You know, when he came in, everybody's like, you know, pushing the Google button. You know, who's this guy from Temple? I mean, everybody. I don't, you know, myself included in that. And he came in, and you know, I think he did a great thing, because he did hire 3 Texas high school football coaches right off the bat. Sean Bell, Wetzel, and of course Joey. Everybody loves Joey. And then, of course, he surrounded himself with the great people that he always does. And, you know, he made an effort. I think once he got to understand what Texas High School Coaches Association was all about, he made every effort to connect to that organization, to connect to every coach, especially when he's recruiting, just like what he's doing right now. What you see is what you get with him. And, you know, anybody that embraces that culture and respects those coaches, you know, they have straight line recruiting out of Texas, which means the college coaches, they commit to going to the head coach, you know, not going through somebody else, you know, those third-party people, that they're going to always talk to the head coach. And, you know, even, you know, when he was there, he embraced that immediately. When he's here at Nebraska, he's doing the absolute same thing. And, you know, I don't want to oversell it, but if you're not recruiting Texas, then you're not doing everything you can to win. And there is a hotbed of talent, and I think Coach has done a great job, and our staff, of recommitting to getting those recruits out of Texas. And, you know, I told him, you know, when I very first interviewed with him, I can help with that. And and what I like about it is he doesn't stereotype. He doesn't paint you in a box. He just lets you do what you're good at. And I hope, you know, as we continue to get players from Texas and Nebraska, and, you know, all the places that we need to get players, that I can continue to play a role in that.
And we were talking before we started recruiting. I mean, Texas has so many high schools, and there's so much talent, and even undiscovered talent. I mean, Bryce Turner is one of those that right when the staff got hired.
That kid's fast.
Right?
That kid is fast.
And, you know, Coach Cooper came in and saw his film, and the track staff was recruiting him, and they got him here as a dual sport athlete. But guys like that, and I mean, how much of that is there in Texas?
Oh, I mean, we were having a conversation this morning. I shared this with you earlier, but there's just these hotbeds, you know. So you got your DFWs, you got your Houston area, you got your greater Austin area, San Antonio, but then you've got these pockets of talent that kids probably aren't getting the high-profile look that some are, you know, the 4 and 5 stars. We all hear about them. There are a lot of 4 and 5 stars that just aren't in any ranking system. And I think it's those relationships with coaches. I think, you know, Garrett McGuire, you know, Bob Wager, Josh Martin, that are on the staff now, and me, you know, we know where they are. And it's just getting to those coaches. And you know, that was the one blessing that I had. I mean, I knew every coach in the state. I didn't know them by name, but at least they knew my name. And, you know, I feel like that the talent is just not 5 and 6A. That's where people get all caught up. It's 1 through 4A, 1 through 6A in our state. And, you know, you've heard Coach enough. I mean, he's looking for a certain profile of athlete, and it may not be their performance on the field, because, you know, things are coachable, but he's looking for speed, he's looking for a certain body build, and he's looking for, you know, high character. And you put all that together, and there's a lot of those in the state of Texas that, you know, maybe their names haven't even been mentioned yet.
Obviously, I mean, I've been here a couple years now, but the things that I've been told is, you know, when Nebraska was at its best, there was that pipeline to Texas.
Yep.
How important is getting back to that? And I mean, and you want to help out with that, right?
Yeah. I mean, Coach had me do a couple of interviews in Texas right after, you know, the signing day. And that was the number one question, is how did Nebraska move away from that Texas pipeline? And I don't have a clue how that happened, but what I can tell you for sure is that we have a huge recommitment to it. Our recruiting staff and scouting staff, that's headed up by Sean Padden, the one and only Sean Padden. He's incredible, and a bright mind for our football program in identifying talent and helping get them here, along with all the other people on that staff. And I'm glad, they have a plan. We have a plan, I should say, not they, huh? And to identify, there's certain states that play at a higher level. And I'm just so glad that the recommitment is there from Nebraska football. I know the coaches in our state are very excited about it. And I went and spoke at a deal in Houston just probably 3 weeks ago, and it was amazing how many of our high school coaches have played here or have some connection to Nebraska. And you just feel the vibe. I mean, sometimes when people come from out of state, you don't have that same vibe. And there's a whole different vibe now that, our staff has, Texas folks on it. And like I said, the recommitment by, I guess it's a recommitment, the new commitment, whatever it is, it's a recommitment back to the 90s, that we will have Texas players on this team. And I want to say this, too, because I think it's important, the commitment to make sure we also have Nebraska players on this team. It's there. It's evident. I mean, we're finding the talent, every single day, and I'm super excited about that, too.
Absolutely. I mean, that's been very evident by the staff that they want to protect the home court, right?
Oh, for sure.
And also, but your connection to Texas too, obviously, is very important. But I think that's been very evident that the staff has made very clear, and that's what they did at Texas, and what led to success at Baylor too.
Was amazing.
Kind of protecting the home field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they went and found those pockets of talent that I talked about. It may not be the kid that's talked about every Friday, on Dave Campbell's football. That's our big group that celebrates Texas high school football. And but they found them, they got them there. I call it getting your mind right. They train us all. I mean, Coach has a high standard for every single one of us. So I can see a transformation. I've only been here, just under, I guess maybe right around 6 weeks. I was kind of back and forth, but I could see a transformation in that amount of time, not only in our players, but in our staff. And specific to me, I love to be challenged that way. It makes me better as a person. It makes our staff better overall, and it's fun. This is fun to watch how we're excelling. We got a long way to go. I'm not celebrating anything. We're undefeated right now, and we're enjoying that. But there's a job to be done, and that job is to win football games.
Well, let's talk about your background and how you got here in the first place. You played softball in college and then became a softball coach. So how did you get into sports? Why softball, and then why coaching, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I played way back when. I'm an old lady now, but I played way back when at Southwest Texas, which is now Texas State. And I'm glad I had that experience. When I grew up in high school, there was no high school softball. The organization that I work for, UIL, Interscholastic Sports, they did not have softball. But the year I graduated from college, they added softball. So I came straight out, was a head coach in the Garland area, started a program there, then went over to Allen, which is the largest school in the state of Texas, and I coached 10 full years, and that has helped me. It really has helped me as a leader. But I knew, from the very first, I taught. I wasn't like this high-level teacher. I was health and PE, baby. I loved it. I loved it because the health component is something I'm kind of a fitness nut, and the physical education component, it just was in my wheelhouse. And but I knew I wanted to lead, and you're trying to find your way, and I knew I wanted to be an athletic director, and so I got my mid-management, which is equivalent to like a principal certification. Never wanted to be that, and my career pretty much excelled. I met a guy named Todd Graham, he's made a lot of stops, but he started in high school football in Texas, and he hired me there. I whispered my goals to him, and he said, I'm gonna make sure you meet your goals. And you fast forward, I was there at Allen for 12 years and then became an athletic director in schools, and you fast forward that thing. I think I had 23 years under my belt when I got to, the call to be the athletic director of the state of Texas, and that was my goal. That was the ultimate goal. Never really thought about getting into college, and it was kind of a bucket list. I hadn't dedicated my time to college, and I knew I'd be stereotyped. And you know how it is, those destiny things. You know, you run across somebody like Coach Rule and you share, you know, this is something I would do if you ever had an opportunity for me. And here I am, you know, full circle. And like I said, I feel very blessed to be here.
You said the goal was to be the athletic director of the UIL. Why? Why was that the goal?
You know, I love leadership, and I pride myself in learning and teaching. I teach a college class for Texas A&M. I teach a best practices in coaching class, but I think that the way that we get to where we want to be is that we perform at our best as leaders, and then we teach others how to lead. And I just wanted to be in a role where I could lead and help others, and that's what that job is. It's about supporting. You know, it has a lot of compliance to it, so you can get, you know, you can get painted as a bad guy, but it's in that job you get to celebrate, you know, kids number one, and coaches number two, and schools number three, and I loved it. I mean, you get in these positions of influence, and if you use it in the right way, it can be very effective. And I look back on it, I think I was able to do a lot of good things for the state of Texas because of my beliefs in leadership and in my beliefs in, you know, just how you have to serve to be successful and help others.
You were the first woman ever to serve in that role.
Yeah. What
did that mean to you to get to do that? I mean,
oh, wow. You know, when they very first interviewed me, I'll never forget, you know, that was the first question. I mean, every headline in the state of Texas was they hire their first female. And you're in this bittersweet place where you're like, you know, I'm proud. But you also don't want to be identified just because you're a female. I mean, you know,
right.
Everybody lives in that space. And but you all of a sudden realize that you're helping others. When you aspire and land in a role that not very many, you know, females have assumed, you're showing others that it can be done. And I've had to get there because I didn't want to cast a negative light on, you know, oh yeah, I'm a female, I got this, you know, stereotype. You just want to stay away from that. But then all of a sudden I realized I got to give back, and I've got to, any opportunity I can get to get in front of other females, aspiring females, and you know, I think this goes outside of females. I think it goes into minorities and different things like that, you know, because we all get stereotyped, you know, on the color of our skin, on our gender. I think males get, you know, even stereotyped on things that are related to female sports, and I realized I needed to you know, get in that gap and be a good role model for others, and you feel pressure. But if you do your job, then there's no pressure, you know. And I always feel like I'm prepared, and hopefully, you know, can lead the way for many others.
Man, I so enjoyed getting to chat with her. I mean, you heard me say it. I was ready to run through a brick wall on some of the things that she was saying. So appreciate Dr. Elza spending some time with us. That was a cut of the full interview that's out right now on our YouTube channel and across our podcast platform. So if you want to hear more from Dr. Elza, and I am serious. I said it at the end of the interview that we got to get her back on, maybe start a series. You know, you heard her say she teaches a leadership and coaching class at Texas A&M. So maybe it's a series we could start. But I enjoyed getting to chat with her. And again, you can hear much more from her on our Huskers Radio Network podcast platforms. If you have any thoughts on that or want to be a part of the show, give us a call, 402-413-2400, the number to call or text. The Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime with 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. All right, got to work in our first break here in hour number 2, but back with more of the show coming up right after this.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Hot dogs! Get your hot dogs!
Over here.
Hot dogs, sir?
Nah, but when does the Nebraska Lottery guy come around?
Who?
Well, you know, the guy who sells Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets.
Sorry, sir. Nobody like that around here. You need to go to a Nebraska Lottery retailer.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, when does the chocolate souffle guy come around?
You don't go to many baseball games, do you?
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
First pitch to Josh. Breaking ball hammer to left. That is absolutely crushed. Way out of here over the hitting facility in left field.
Tune in tomorrow to cheer on Nebraska baseball as they face off against 7th-ranked Vanderbilt with pregame coverage beginning at 10:30 a.m. Softball is also in action tomorrow with a doubleheader against Weber State and TAMU Commerce at 10:45 a.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
When you're a fan, you wear your team's jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. After a win, your world glistens. Lose, and the hurt permeates your soul. You'll always have a place with us in the Cox Fan Zone, where everyone can play and connect with other fans in a big group hug. See, in the Fan Zone, you're not some crazy fan. You're home.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe, voice of the Huskers. Say Fan Zone into your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Huskers.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at new head coach Matt Rule and the 2023 Husker football team. Be in Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 22nd for the annual Nebraska football red and white spring game presented by FNBO. Tickets are on sale now and are only $10 when purchased in advance and $20 on the day of the game. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
I think farming picked me. I didn't pick farming. I'm not afraid to try something new. It's my farm, my family, and our future. My Channel Seedsman gets that. I get access to innovative products with personalized advice backed by data to maximize my yield potential. With Channel, I know I'll prosper for years to come.
Define your future at channel.com/future. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. Copyright 2022 Bayer Group. All rights reserved.
You ain't seen nothing. This is Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get up and get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. Like the Ford F-150 or the all-new Ford Super Duty. Or check out Ford Maverick and Ford Ranger pickups. So get into Ford Truck Month and see what a built Ford Tough truck can do for you. There's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. Based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office as we welcome you back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Mark on our text line said, watch the entire interview with Dr. Elza the other night on YouTube. What a great gal. She's very upbeat and enthusiastic. She's going to do great things. Go Big Red. Yeah, I chatted with her probably for 10 minutes before we were recording the interview, and then for 10 minutes after, and just hearing, even just some of her plans that she wants to do, and some of her visions of the things that she hopes to bring here, and talking with Coach Roll's wife about some things that they want to do here. I'm so excited about the addition, and it is a home run hire, a great hire. If you guys have listened to the show and heard me talk over the last year and a half or whatever, you probably know I've talked about my dad being a high school basketball coach. He actually transitioned into being a principal after my brother was born, and then went back to school and eventually became a superintendent. And then he retired from Oklahoma and went into Texas. So he was going to do the double dipping and get retirement both from Oklahoma and Texas. And I promise I have a point to this. So he worked 10 years in Texas, and so became very familiar with UIL and how that all works. And he still has a lot of buddies that are still working in this Texas high school system right now, and he goes down there all the time. And it was right around, gosh, what was it? I guess it might have been the Texas high school state football championships, when maybe word was starting to leak out that Dr. Elza might be coming to Nebraska. And he was down there, and I can't tell you, he started texting me, and all of his buddies were telling him how great that was for Nebraska and how much they respected her and how great of a job she did as the leader of UIL, the athletics director. And I even got a couple text messages and wanting to hear from her. So she certainly did a great job. I know she's so well respected and well liked, and you heard her talking about having those connections in Texas and that pipeline, getting that pipeline back to Texas. And so I can attest to the few people that I know that actually worked in Texas high schools. They absolutely are all in and believe and said that that was such a home run hire for Nebraska, and that she will do really, really great things here. And so, again, enjoyed getting to chat with her and getting to know her a little bit. Can't wait to see everything that she does here. So I thought that was neat, and had lots of requests. So again, if you want to hear that full interview, and would love to maybe do a little something more with her along the way. Cole, I'm going to bring Cole in here because we're going to talk a little Husker baseball. You are the producer, so you've produced every game so far. You're going to be with them all season long. They got a big weekend this weekend, but so far, what's been your take of Husker baseball?
So, after week 1 against San Diego, there were some worries, but also some things that you could see upside on. Hitting was certainly strong, and I thought the biggest worry after the week with San Diego was the bullpen and pitching in general. And then we go to Mobile and play South Alabama and completely turn it around. So who knows, what part of that was the team we were playing and what part of that was, a change from our guys. But I think Michael Garza, who pitched on Sunday, went 6 innings, shutout relief pitching, and just way better bullpen than we had against San Diego. So now we go in, play number 7 Vanderbilt and the defending champs Ole Miss. So,
and Cole knows his baseball too. Cole played high school baseball, right?
To the high school level, yes.
Yeah.
I was a pitcher.
Okay. So you pay close attention to the pitching then?
Yes.
Hey, everybody on the YouTube chat wants to see you, and I've told them that you have maybe said that you're going to do the ticker tomorrow. You're going to start maybe being involved with that, but we're going to try to figure out how to get you on camera. Again, Andrew Dowdy is out. He's gone. A week ago tonight, we were having his send-off. It was all things Andrew Dowdy, but Cole and Mike are currently running things on their own, so we're going to try to figure out how we can get him on camera. I think we maybe have a solution, so you're going to give the people what they want tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. We'll try and get a face reveal for everybody.
Well, give us a breakdown of this weekend. You said it's a tough schedule. You got a lot that to play for. I mean, we heard Coach Bolt was on the show last night, and it's a big opportunity for this team this weekend.
It's a huge opportunity. We don't often play out of conference games at this. I think we had a few ranked opponents last year, but this is really a big weekend for baseball to, if they can, win one of those on Friday or Sunday, or even against Hawaii on Saturday. These are all solid teams. So if they can land one of these wins or multiple wins this weekend, that would set us up for great shape heading into our first home opener on Tuesday.
And this team can hit, right?
They can. 29 runs in Mobile last weekend in 3 games, which is, and I don't know how many home runs. It was probably 8 or 9 home runs last weekend. So that doesn't seem to be a problem for them.
You heard, I don't know if we said this on the air the other night, but Greg and I were talking, and just through 2 weekends, Huskers are pretty high in the RPI already right now, just because they've played 2 on the road, and this would be a huge RPI builder this weekend.
Yeah, we'll definitely get a better sense of where they lie after this weekend, but it'll be exciting. I think 10:30 a.m. pregame tomorrow against Vandy, so come join us.
I know a lot of Husker fans are going to be making their way to Minneapolis. Have you been in Minneapolis, Cole?
I went maybe in 8th grade. We took a bus to there, but I have not been back since. I know they're playing the games in the Vikings stadium, which will be, I mean, unfortunately I don't get to go, but that'll be a sick setup for Greg and Ben to be able to witness that in the Vikings stadium.
Yeah, at least they'll be inside, though, so you don't have to worry about weather this weekend.
True.
Yeah, I only been to Minneapolis the one time when we went when Nebraska football played Minnesota last year, but Jeremiah loves Minneapolis. He loved playing there. It was one of his favorites. He's still a huge Vikings fan because of his time in Minneapolis. I know it's not a far drive, so I'm sure Husker fans will be well represented there this weekend. All right, what?
There's probably still some Husker fans that went to the Big Ten tourney today that might stop by for a game or two.
Absolutely. I'm sure there are fans that are going to make a weekend of it. Disappointing that Huskers women's basketball team didn't make it a little bit longer so that some of the people that were headed this weekend didn't get a chance to see them, but still a chance to see baseball and some good matchups there. All right, we got to work in another break here on Sports Nightly, but our Sports Nightly hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime with a huge selection of pre-owned, and you can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. All right, back with more from the show coming up right after this.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm Student Government President Jake Drake with Campus News. Nebraska has the most technically advanced buildings in the Big Ten, according to an annual review of universities across the country. Nebraska has also saved over $85 million over the past 17 years by making long-term investments in clean, reliable energy sources, cutting-edge automation, and collaborations across campus.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, Our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See shelter agent Sharon Lear in Papillion, Paul Hoos in Grand Island, or an Ord C agent Matt Woodward.
Woodhouse Nissan offers a variety of SUVs and crossovers that will fit your lifestyle. Stop into one of our 2 convenient locations and check out the brand new all-electric 2023 Nissan Aria. This versatile SUV seats up to 5 people and offering plenty of cargo space without compromising its efficiency. With Nissan Drive at Home, you can conveniently schedule your next test drive online and have it delivered to your driveway anytime. Start shopping today at woodhousenissan.com or woodhouseplacenissan.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Welcome back into Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Got a couple more segments left of the show tonight. 402-413-2400 if you want to be a part of it. Steve in Bellevue on our text line said, Jessica, that was great. Glad the good doctor is here at Nebraska. I'm from Southwest Texas, Friday Night Lights area. Know what Texas athletics is all about. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I've talked about this much on the show, but my first job out of college was actually in Midland, Texas. And so the Midland TV area covers Odessa as well. So Odessa Permian, Friday Night Lights. I got to experience that firsthand, and that was overwhelming, let me tell you. But, yeah, there's so much talent. And as you heard Dr. Elza talking about, just undiscovered talent and that might not be getting all the hype and the Dave Campbells, Texas high school football realm or whatnot, but there's so much there, and that's what Matt Rule and his staff did so well when they were at Baylor, is getting connected and finding those diamond in the roughs that might not be, getting all the hype right now. I mean, and Bryce Turner is exactly one of those that wasn't highly recruited, was not getting many offers to get to play both, and he really wanted to play football and run track, and he had a lot of literally everybody in the country wanted him to run track, but he wanted somewhere that was going to ask for or wanted and allow for him to do both, and Nebraska was by far. And Texas Tech, which Joey McGuire is another one of those guys that was with Matt Rule at Baylor, and can't remember which assistant coach was in which interview that I did, but talked about how you're going to see probably a lot of Texas Tech and Nebraska going after some of the same players because they like the same type of players, and so and finding that in Texas. Going back to when Matt Rule was hired and we were preparing for his signing day show that we did leading into his press conference, I'm not sure. I guess I was just thinking about, because when I was, again, going back to my time at Oklahoma and when Matt Rule was there and how quickly Baylor was turned around, and just remembering how much Texas high school talent was on those rosters at Baylor during that time, I wanted to see just the percentages. I think that's how it initially started, the percentages of his rosters that were from the state of Texas. And over 80% of that roster was from Texas while he was there. But then it led me to believe, well, I wonder where he got his talent when he was at Temple. And, I've shared this here that a lot of the talent that he got was in that Temple area, in the New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, and New York. The vast majority was from that area. But, going back to the recruiting in Texas, the focus, and how many times have we heard it, they want to protect the home court. They want to protect Nebraska. They want to get the best talent here in this state, and that's absolutely a priority. Dr. Elza mentioned it. Every coach that we've talked to has mentioned that. But going back to opening back up that pipeline to Texas and all the talent there is absolutely critical and a huge part of it. And I think that's why it was such a big hire and so important for Coach Rule to get some coaches and some staff members with those Texas ties to be able to bring in that talent, that what led to a lot of the success at Baylor and the developing of that talent there at Baylor. And so it'll be a combination for sure, and the focus will be in priority and getting to those high schools here in the state of Nebraska. But I think that Texas element, that Texas part of it, with all of the plethora of talent that's in that state and undiscovered talent at that, untapped into talent, it will be absolutely huge. So I thought that was just a fascinating conversation with Dr. Elza, and again, hopefully we'll hear more from her coming up. All right, going to work in our final break here on Sports Nightly. Got one final segment to wrap up the show. 402-413-2400. One final segment. Stephen Bellevue, I see your text. San Angelo Central State champs in 1966. Nice. Love that. Awesome. All right, we're back with more to wrap up the show coming up right after this.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Nebraska Innovation Campus creates partnerships between business and the University of Nebraska. Partners lease office space, laboratories, pilot plants, and greenhouses, all centrally located with easy access to University of Nebraska talent and resources. Nebraska Innovation Campus, creating spaces and culture that inspire. Learn more at innovate.unl.edu.
Hit us us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. We have a final up in Minneapolis for the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. Purdue comes back to beat Wisconsin 57-55. I mean, Wisconsin led that thing the entire way, but Purdue comes back to win it 57-55. I mean, all those games, again, have been close and been fun to watch. That's the beauty of March. On the men's side, close one, again, Michigan and Illinois, 57-56. Wolverines leading the Illini with 6:48 left in the second. And this one has some implications as well. There's a big logjam of teams in the Big Ten men's basketball standings at 11-8 or 11-8 or 10-8. Illinois, one of those. Michigan still potentially could be in the talks for being number 1, number 2 seed in the tournament, depending on if Purdue closes it out, which we expect they will. But if they do slip up, then Michigan is 2 games behind. So they are still very much in the hunt at this point. And so it's a big game for Michigan. And also just in terms of 11-7, but then again, there's a bunch of teams at 11-8. So you could very well drop in the seedings depending on the tiebreaker. So lots to still figure out with the Big Ten seeding, including where Nebraska might finish. Right now, they are currently the 12th seed, and they would play the 13th seed, which is Ohio State. But Wisconsin is right there. They play tonight with a couple games left as well. And so still a chance that the Huskers move up to the 10 seed. And but right now, currently 12 seed and would play Ohio State. And I do have that bracket I was going to pull up here in case. So right now, as of right now today, if it ended how it was, the Huskers would be the 12 seed and would play Ohio State 5:30 in that game 1 matchup on March 8th. So Huskers final game coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock, right? 1 o'clock tip? Yep. So the pregame show will be starting at 12:30. Cole is going to, here to close out the show, wanted to give a reminder of the schedule coming up this weekend. I tasked you with passing along the baseball scores.
Yes, big weekend, like we said in the previous segment for baseball. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., with pregame here on the HRN at 10:30 against number 7 Vanderbilt. Then on Saturday, 3 p.m. first pitch, 2:30 pregame against Hawaii, although that might be pushed back because it's a tournament layout, so it's always like 30 minutes after the previous game. And then Sunday, number 4 Ole Miss at 1:30 with pregame at 1. All 3 games will also be on BTN Plus.
Awesome. And yes, 1 o'clock tip for Nebraska and Iowa in the regular season finale. Jake and Kent will be on at noon for the pregame show. So Huskers.com if you need to follow along. Not only do we have baseball, men's basketball, but we also have softball all weekend long as well. And They are actually in the Hildebrand Invitational in Tucson, Arizona. And we were going to have Nate Rohr on the show tomorrow night to give us an update on all things Huskers softball. They play Weaver State at 11 a.m. and then TAMU Commerce at 2. So they got a pair of games coming up tomorrow. Nate Rohr will be here to give us all the breakdowns of that. And they had a big weekend last weekend, got the bats going, but Sarah Harness, she's the real deal. The right-handed pitcher, she is the co-Big Ten pitcher of the week following last weekend and her first Big Ten pitcher of the week honors. But I talked to Maddie Fowler-Burkhart, who, obviously is on the call with Nate, and she walking out of the basketball game the other day, and she said Sarah Harness is the real deal, and she was hitting 68, which is, that's throwing some gas. Cole, could you hit a 68 fast pitch?
No, especially not from that
Have
distance.
you ever stepped in a box and tried to hit against a fast pitch pitcher?
I did. My sister played softball through college. My sister Megan, she played for Peru and Southeast Community College here in Nebraska, and I didn't come close to touching it.
You didn't?
No, it's wild.
I think it's always so funny because baseball players are like, I can hit that, and then it's some crazy speed, right, that you don't see from baseball, and then it's so much closer that it just is so deceptive, I think, of you think you can hit it, and then it's like you get in the box.
Yeah.
And it's completely different.
It's almost, I think, like a third. No, I don't know for sure. It's something like a third the distance, or 2/3, whatever. It's shorter distance, and that makes a huge difference in velocity.
Yeah, so I think, again, Sarah Harness out of the gate, and we heard Nate talking about that last week when he was on the show with us about how impressive she's been. So certainly so far a great addition, and also great 1-2 punch between her and Coatney Wallace. And, Coatney has more of the spin and is a great defensive pitcher, so it's a great kind of, they offset each other, 1-2 punch, kind of like what we saw last year with Olivia Farrell. And then Kaylin Kinney is coming off the injury, and she's also provided some good innings for the Huskers as well. So can't wait to talk more softball. You guys know I'm a big softball fan. I love talking softball, and I love this team, and I'm just ready for them to be at home. Both the baseball and softball teams are on the road forever before they get back here, but they will be back here before you know it. It's still a couple weekends away, but we'll hear more from Nate and breaking down the team a little bit more coming up tomorrow. And again, you heard Cole saying baseball, 11 a.m. first pitch, 10:30 pregame with Greg Sharpe and Ben McLaughlin. Coming up on the show tomorrow night, we got another big show coming up for you. Emmanuel Bandamel, who was a part of the senior class for our Husker men's basketball. He was honored on senior night. And I've been wanting to get him on after his injury and once he went through the surgery and get his perspective because, I've been hosting the Nebraska men's basketball shows the last couple of weeks, and it seems like every coach that sat there and has brought up Emmanuel Bandamel and the impact that he's making even though he's not on the floor, and what he's been able to do to help change the culture and the mindset on the defensive end from the time he stepped on campus, and how that's still carried over, and the impact that he's had on Jamarcus Lawrence. And man, Jamarcus Lawrence is just, he is bright. The future is bright for him, and he's been such a great defender following in the footsteps of Emmanuel Bandamel. And so wanted to get his perspective on everything, give an update, and also talk about his time as a Husker, because I know it's meant a lot to him, and he told me he is a little emotional on senior night here in the reception from Husker fans. So we're going to hear from him. We're also going to hear from Nate, as I mentioned, and we're going to have a couple track athletes in studio as well. I believe that's all I've got for tomorrow so far, but you never know who might also be joining the program, but it'll be a great lineup as usual. Might even hear from Greg Sharpe, might check in if the Huskers get a big win tomorrow. We'll have an update from him as well. So should be a fun show, and thanks so much to Cole back there for running the show for us. We'll be back again tomorrow night. Cole's going to be on the ticker and also be on camera for you guys on our YouTube stream. So appreciate you guys listening. Have a great night, and we'll be back here for the party show on a Friday night here on Sports Nightly. Thanks for listening. Have a great night, and buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Students from Nebraska's Johnny Carson Center for Emerging Media Arts helped create visual effects for the Star Wars TV series Obi-Wan Kenobi. This opportunity came from a 3-month internship with Lola VFX, a visual effects firm in Los Angeles. This internship transitioned to employment, with Huskers also creating effects for the superhero movie Thor: Love and Thunder.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider